Manchester United 4, Wolves 1, and all I can say about that is job done. Now, you have to caveat any talk of that game with the fact that Wolves are so bad. They are horrendous. Probably one of the worst Premier League teams I've seen. And that first half in particular, I was embarrassed as a Manchester United fan that we were drawing. I honestly believe if that Wolves team went down into the Championship, I don't know if they'd get back up. That is genuine. They are so poor, lack so much goal threat. Defensively, they look shambles. They look so many gaps, and we exploited that. Manchester United side, I think you have to be positive but not get carried away with that. There's been weeks against Everton, against West Ham, where we've turned around and we said Manchester United need to win to go fourth. Manchester United need to win to go fifth. Today to go sixth. And them last couple of times we failed against some poor teams. Everton, West Ham haven't been great against Manchester United, and there's been an opportunity there. But we have taken that opportunity tonight. We've put them to the sword. We've scored a couple of goals. We've got a bit of confidence. A few players got a few minutes. And ultimately, that is it, isn't it? That is job done. I think if you just go through the team as a whole, for me, this is evidence of Bruno Fernandes at his best and at his worst. Because you look at that goal and you think, where's our midfield? Where's our midfield like in terms of tracking runners? We are so bad at tracking runners into the box, so bad at cutbacks. We concede so many goals from that. But then the other end, Bruno Fernandes going forward today, I thought was brilliant. You see his quality for the Mason Mount goal. You see some of the chances that he's creating. You see some of the opportunities that the rest of the team are getting purely because of him. Because a lot of times Cunha gets on the ball, he'll lose it. And Mbeumo got on the ball quite a few times in that first half and lost it. But when Bruno Fernandes is on form, he creates chances, he creates goals. And I'm sat here thinking, I put it in a WhatsApp group that I'm in. Are we naive to support this manager playing Bruno Fernandes deep in terms of it's almost guaranteed goals playing further up the pitch, isn't he? Like, he'll get you double figures goals, double figures assists, hands down if he plays in that front line. But that's a question for the manager, isn't it? But again, Bruno Fernandes, I thought was brilliant today. Man of the match went to Mason Mount, and I've done a video on him separately on TikTok in terms of that is exactly what we want from Mason Mount. And a lot of Mason Mount's issues at Manchester United, number one being injuries, which we can't really factor in. We can't preempt that happening in these coming weeks. But what we can say is, if Mason Mount's fit, if Mason Mount's in the team, he has to impact this team. He has to impact games. And to his credit, he's done that over the last couple of weeks. The goal at Crystal Palace, the goal today. And he showed an authority on the ball today, which I don't think we've seen from Mason Mount at Manchester United, in terms of getting on the ball, taking over from Bruno Fernandes in terms of playing that pass or making the dribble or making whatever it might be. He took the authority with that today. And you look at the rest of the front line, Cunha and Mbeumo, I don't think we're that good today. Mbeumo looked a little bit sloppy, a little bit tired maybe. Cunha, I think, was way too eager, and we've seen this before, way too eager to get that goal. And for me, how many shots did he have today, Cunha? It felt like 8 shots Matheus Cunha had today. It's rash. And I love Matheus Cunha as a character, but it's a little bit frustrating from him today in terms of that performance. But Mason Mount, his goal, his dribbling, his work rate, everything about him is what we want him to be. That today was exactly what we need in terms of, we know he's very good in the press. We know he's very good and he'll do his job, but we need output. And his output issues aren't in terms of his technicality. He isn't a bad technical footballer who messes up chances. If he gets into a good area, Mason Mount can score goals. If he gets on the ball, he can create chances. It's just a kind of an aura type thing with him. You always know Bruno Fernandes is going to get on the ball. You always know Cunha is going to get on the ball. But sometimes Mount drifts through games when he needs to step up. He's wearing the number 7 shirt. He needs to step up and take that authority. In terms of the rest of the midfield, Casemiro, I thought was... I don't know how many kilometres he did in that game. I don't know whether I can find that out. But it felt like he barely moved in terms of... I can't find the stats. But it felt like he did about 2 kilometres in that game and just stood in the central midfield spot. stood in there and said to Bruno Fernandes, right, you go and create the chances, we'll win this game. And that was kind of it, wasn't it? Job done. I was a little bit disappointed with Amad Diallo today. I thought it was a little bit lackluster in terms of his end products, and we need him to improve on that. You saw the statistics at the weekend. I think he's got 1 goal, 2 assists, or 2 goals, 1 assist, whatever it is. He needs to increase that, because he's the one that's getting into the positions. A lot of times then Mbeumo will take up a secondary position so that Amad can get on the ball outside. So we need to see him kind of generating chances and being a bit more clinical when it gets into the final third, making the correct decisions. Defence, not much to say about them. I mean, Wolves are pitiful going forward. I don't think the goal was much on the defence. Maybe Delors could have got out a bit quicker, and he's a little bit sloppy at the back post. But again, I think it's them runners coming into the box that they're a big issue for Manchester United. Ruben Amorim, tactically, what do you say about that? What do you honestly say about that? I think the only one thing that bugged me is that we didn't see Shea Lacey. Like, if there isn't a chance for Lacey to play when you are 4-1 up, do I want to be involved in that? I want Lacey to come on and be a part of a game like that. Get on the ball, make a couple of dribbles. And he could have probably done something against that Wolves team, because they are bang average. So that moves us up to 6th in the league. Like I say, we're joint with Chelsea now. And you've got 2 ways to go, haven't you? Because you can look back and you can say, right, that Everton game, the West Ham game, that screwed us over. We could be 3rd, we could be 4th. And that's true. There's so many times this year that Manchester United have dropped points when we shouldn't have dropped points. And you can sit back and you can lament that. You can criticise the manager, the players for not getting through them games. Or we can look forward and we can say, right, we've got a relatively decent run. We've got a couple of tricky games. I think the Newcastle game on Boxing Day is a tricky one. But if you can pick up points over this next 3, 4, 5 weeks, going into January, going into the new year, you are going to be in a good position in the league, because this is when players are leaving. Sunderland are up there at the minute, but they're going to drop down. Well, they're 9th at the minute. Aston Villa, I can't see them keeping this momentum. Crystal Palace again, up and down. Chelsea, up and down. So there's an opportunity for Manchester United. We just need to stay. Think of it like a title race. You think of so many times under Sir Alex, we'd kick on towards the end of the season and improve as it gradually went on. And that's what we need to do. We need to take these lessons we've had over these last couple of weeks, put that into the games that are coming up, and say to ourselves, right, we can put ourselves in a really good position to get European football. And there's still question marks over Amorim. There's still question marks over his system, his style, his tactics, certain game styles, all that type of stuff. But for me, as long as Manchester United are winning games, you have to stand by the man, and we have to trust the process. This review after the game would have been a lot different had we not got them points, had we not scored that many goals. If that had been 2-1, this would have been a different volume. And that is where we're at as Manchester United fans. I'm not a flip-flop fan in terms of I want the manager out, I want him in. But we are at a perilous position where we could drastically fall off or we can drastically improve. And we just have to hope and pray as Manchester United fans that it is the latter. Thank you for watching. Get down in the comments. Let me know who you thought your man of the match was, what you liked from the game, what you didn't like for the game, and where you think we're going to need to improve in these next couple of games. Hit the like button and subscribe. Goodbye.